All right, hey everybody, just another one of these stupid update videos. I didn't write everything out this time because there's just so much information, so I'm gonna have some notes here and just sort of go over what's happening right now, because it seems like things are kind of starting to finally coalesce. Plans are being made, some things are happening. The first thing to be aware of in all of this is that Utah finally released a plan. And they're calling it the Utah Leads Together Plan because, they always have to name these things some goddamn thing. Anyhow, it's actually not a bad plan. The thing to keep in mind, and this is the thing to keep in mind through all of this, is that patience is the watchword, right? We have to be patient with this. We have to help our clients to be patient with this. We have to assist people in having all the patience in the world, because that's what's most important right now. And so let's talk about a few things here locally. First of all, there's a plan. We're going to get into that. One thing to keep in mind as we're still closing transactions and people are still closing transactions, the state the county, Salt Lake County, is closing a few of its services, but it is not closing the county recorder fully. What they're doing is they're only allowing in-person recordings for limited hours and by appointment only. Everything else is going to be electronically, and so electronically is going to be the way that they record everything. So the county recorder has most of their staff working from home right now, and they can do everything they need to do to make sure our transactions close and fund and record in a timely manner from there. And so they've got that taken care of, so I wouldn't really be concerned about the recorder closing at this time. The recorder is going to continue to function, which means real estate is going to be able to continue to move forward. The Utah Leads Together Plan, this is something to be remembered. Something to keep in mind as you're working with clients, because some of the timelines that they're suggesting here are a little bit longer than we might want. But what they're looking for is they're looking to achieve a person-to-person transmission rate of 1-to-1. Right now, the transmission rate is about 1 to 1.5. We're trying to get that down. They want to get that transmission rate down by April 30th to 1-to-1. If we can get that down by April 30th to 1-to-1, then we can keep it. And if we can keep it there for 7 days, they're going to shift some of the measures they've taken, and we might be able to start functioning more like a normal society. Not all the way, but baby steps forward. And so one of the things that we have to do is still to keep maintaining this distance from each other. Matt and I are here in the office most days just because we feel like we need to be, but we're not encouraging anybody to come in. Sometimes people say they want to stop by and say hi. We're telling them not to stop by, because we're just trying to limit that contact as much as possible. We're working here because we can get a whole lot more done here than we can at home, and it's just Matt and I doing this. We're not really exposing ourselves to anybody else. We're not exposing ourselves to each other either, so don't get any ideas. But what we're looking at is if to achieve the 1-to-1 transmission rate, we've got to have less than 800 to 1,000 new cases by April 30th. So if we can do that, then they're going to start to relax some of the things that they've put in place. And I'm going to link in the notes with this link to a summary of the plan and to the entire plan. Guys, read it. Be educated. Know what the state is planning on doing, because we finally have something happening from our state leadership. But the biggest thing to remember for us, and the things that we can do, is to keep that social distance, not get together in groups, and that's why we're moving training and Fridays and stuff to a virtual space for the time being. Because on Friday, I'm going to have to see some people's faces because it is driving me crazy. So that's the Utah Leads Together Plan. It's still just maintaining the social distance and keeping certain things closed so that we can reduce the transmission rate from 1 to 1.5 to 1-to-1. The next thing that was huge in the news, late last night, the Senate finally agreed on a stimulus bill. Now, I don't know what this bill is going to do. Nobody's actually seen the full text of the bill, but it seems like at least it's something, and that's kind of what I'm going for. It's the largest rescue package in the history of the country, which should tell you the severity of what we're dealing with right now. A lot of us might be deciding that this is some hoax or that we're overreacting, but it's kind of a big deal. And so it's more important than ever to make sure that we're distancing ourselves from each other physically, and let's find other ways to connect in order to do that. So a couple of things in the plan, they're going to be sending checks out. I mean, that was always kind of part of it. About $1,200 to most American people, just depending on where your income bracket is and how much you need it. They're extending the unemployment insurance program. So if you've got clients that are unemployed, they get on unemployment insurance for a month longer than normal. So usually it's only 3 months. Now they'll be able to do it for 4 months. And they're also raising the maximum unemployment insurance benefit by $600 per week. So a lot of your clients who are struggling right now, they need to know this. They need to know that once this goes through, that they're going to be able to go and get those unemployment benefits, and that they're going to be for a longer period of time. I got to check my papers. And then they've got a couple of different earmarks for large businesses and small businesses in the healthcare system. There are some loans that are going to be made to small businesses. We're not really in need of any of that. As you guys know, that here, Matt and I, we've run debt free, and so we run pretty lean, and so we're not super concerned with our overhead right now. We're going to keep the doors open. We're going to be able to keep doing business for quite some time, just based on the cash reserves that we have and the very little that we operate on. A couple important things with that, though. We don't need to go to that. That's more or less political. The thing to remember about this plan, and before you start sharing that with people, is this has passed the Senate, but not the House. And the House is not currently in session. And in order to get this passed, you have to have unanimous support for it from the House of Representatives. So we're not out of the woods yet. We don't have a federal program yet. We just have an agreement that the Senate made in order to move things forward. Now, do I think the House is going to approve this? Yes, they're probably going to change a few things in it. You're going to have, in particular, some of the House Democrats who want more protections again for regular people. And the thing is that they've done a lot of things to make sure that regular people are protected, and that corporations can't take advantage of this bailout to make more money. And I don't hate the current form of the bill based on what I've seen. And so there's that from me, not that it matters. Lastly, this can all feel super, super overwhelming. It can feel like nothing that we actually do makes a difference. And a good friend of mine sent me a video, and I'm gonna link it in the comments here. But it's important to remember the impact that you have. And it's a coach. The video is 18 minutes long. I would say watch the whole thing, or just listen to the last probably minute and a half. But he makes a good point. He says that no raindrop ever felt responsible for the flood. And all he's saying there is that each one of us, we can feel like our ability to impact other people's lives is minuscule. That we're just one raindrop. And what are we going to do? What are we going to be able to do? But the reality is every flood is just made up of millions and billions of raindrops. And we are the raindrops. So no raindrop feels responsible for the flood. But if we work together to accomplish the things that we need to accomplish, if we work together to help our clients, if we work together to help our society weather this particular storm, we might not feel responsible for the flood, but we will be a part of the flood. And that's important to remember, guys. We make a difference in people's lives. We make a difference in the people's lives that we connect with, and we make a difference in the people's lives that we help. And so let's just make sure that even though we feel like just a raindrop in the storm right now, or a raindrop in the flood, that we keep doing our best, and we keep staying patient and supporting the people we need to support, and helping people through this time, because it's the right thing to do. And that's what I've got for you guys today. That's a long video. Hope you watch it all, and we'll talk to you guys in a day or two.